Coach, they kind of hit you hard coming out of the gate. They came kind of fast out of the gate against you in the first quarter and kind of took them a little bit of control of the game. And I don't know what was going on then with you guys.
Seemed to be, yeah. You know what? It was like in a boxing ring when you get knocked down and you start staggering all over the goddamn place and then questioning everything that you're doing. And they did a great job. I mean, they move at a great pace, and it's an outstanding team. I don't know that it gets better than Kelsey Mitchell. And Austin did a great job as well. And all of them, really. But what was most disappointing for us is that we took all of these shots, far more than what we normally take, blowing layups and turning the ball over. You know, and when that kind of thing happens, then naturally they come out, they've got a big lead. And we somehow, always in the third or fourth quarter, we come back. We made a valiant comeback. But it's always going to be too short. You can't let a team like that get ahead and think you're going to do something. And you might ask the question, well, why did we do a 55? Well, we weren't moving fast enough in the first place on the defensive side of it. And what's most disappointing to us is that the Scarlet Knights have always been known for their defense. We might be scoring 52 points, 53 points, but at the highest level, we don't allow this kind of scoring. And quite frankly, our team doesn't take enough pride in that. We can't remember. Maybe it's just a will, because defense is a will. It's not a skill necessarily. So we haven't committed ourselves to that. And unless we do commit ourselves to the defense first, then we're going to find ourselves on the short end of the stick. And maybe if it means enough, because we recognize the magnitude of the Ohio State team, and we recognize the magnitude of a lot of these teams here, whether it's Ohio State and Maryland and Michigan State and the likes, unless we buckle down and play some serious defense. We just have a different mindset, and that's unfortunate. I'll find a way to make sure that we understand, and it's impressed upon us enough, the importance of playing defense. Because it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to practice it. It's another thing when there's an attitude every time somebody scores and you keep being the one, then there's a different look altogether. But we got what I would call just a blank, yeah, okay, well, yeah, that's hard to take. So I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, you basically kept them at halftime for a long time.
Yeah.
And it came out.
Yeah.
Was that the conversation?
And then we, you know, started letting the water start to come through the walls, and it was too much. And it doesn't help us with the turnovers that we had. You know, that was unfortunate. And quite honestly, those turnovers were what I would consider unnecessary turnovers, because the press wasn't, it was good, but it wasn't really that tight. It wasn't a real swarming kind of press, and we looked like we had seen a ghost. You know, so instead of handling it, bringing it down, executing, it was like hot potatoes or whatever. Looked like we saw a ghost, and that's unfortunate because we do know what we're supposed to do, and we look, for lack of a better word, really shaken by that.
You mentioned Kelsey Mitchell, and she plays at just high motor the entire time. And if you give her an inch,
Of course.
she'll take more than an inch.
Yeah, she's gonna take hers anyway, and because of the range, and she's probably one of the few guards that I know that shoots it as consistently as she does at 3-point range. But you get close to her, she's gonna attack you, and a lot of people take what, you know, we would say are straight line drives. This girl will attack you to the inside, you know, but she has such tight ball control or tight handles, and she has great vision, and she can see and dish, and you gotta stop her from getting there. But there is such a thing as making her work for hers and then shutting everybody else down. The other kid, Austin, is a great player too, but let's say it like this. Kelsey, you just try to contain, you do not stop her, period. Then you've got to shut down everybody else. And we didn't do that. All of a sudden, Austin shows up, she's knocking a three down, she's knocking 3 threes. You know, it's like you can't put your fingers in the hole to stop the flood from coming in quick enough. So I'm mostly disappointed with the turnovers, with us not getting back quick enough on the defensive transition, and stopping in the defensive transition.
Yeah, they got 24 points in transit and fast break points, and you don't.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen to you, does it? Very often.
Yeah. You know what the bad part about it is we have, I'd like to do something in practice that'll make us remember what this feels like. But the problem is that we have, we've been practicing for 9 days in a row. We haven't had any time off. So, you know, like it's a defeatist kind of mentality. We can work on that, which means that you obviously have to run. You can't just run your mouth. You have to do it. But I think that we're so tired that we possibly can't do that. We'll have to look at tape and hopefully recover.
You got it down to 10 pretty quickly.
You know what?
You had a shot?
You know what? Personally, to get it down to 10, I don't even like. I don't like that because my mindset is that then I'm accepting mediocrity or second level play. You know, and I'm not that kind of coach. I don't like it. I don't even like the fact, well, we got it to 10, that's not bad. I can't imagine any coach going into a game, whether you're playing Connecticut or Notre Dame or the top #1 team in the country. You know, nothing matters except that you win. You know, but the way we lost, doing the things that we know that we needed to correct, that's concerning. So I don't need to wait till the next game, whoever that happens to be, and try to beat up on the sisters of the poor. You know, if you're a big-time team, then you show up for the big-time competition, and it should be nip and tuck. And you might concede if you lose here because, you know, it's the home court. But, you know, the kinds of things that we did today, it's most disappointing because I think that we could have controlled that. I would have expected us to be much more poised than that, and not satisfied with, well, we only have to lose by 10, or we only have to, what are you talking about? That's not in the vocabulary. And I'm going to suggest that if we really fought much harder, we had the will, the defensive will to really get down and check that, it would have been a different situation. If I thought that we had that stomach, that heart in there, then I would have suggested, I would have, you know, pursued the 55, because it generally, you know, pushes people at another tempo. But when you see people beating you in the head and you don't respond to that, what's the point in putting, you know, getting the 55 on this? Because it's a waste of energy. You're not getting anything done. You know, so with us being down, let me give it to you like this. If we were down and we had the will to play the 55, because it takes a lot out of you, then we would be coming back, coach, come on, let's play the 55. We gotta play this because they want to come back and they know that they can come back. I didn't hear that. You know, so I know that contrary to what we might think, there's something about it. And because I've at times said, no, we're not gonna play it. We can play it, and I'll say that because unless we have the energy and the intensity that we can go at it like that, I won't play it. I'm not gonna waste my time, or better still, waste their time doing it. And sometimes, you know, they'll have the will and they agree we're gonna lock it down, and that's what they mean. But I'm telling you that in a huddle, there wasn't one time that we said, let's play 55, knowing that we had 5 or 6 baskets, you know? And it may be that, we were just that tired. But I believe that every team in the Big Ten has the same kind of schedule, so we got a game every couple of days. You know, we had less time to prepare for this than anything else, and I'm not suggesting that we were any different than anyone else. And honestly, the other is that you don't really even complain about the fouls. I mean, we had 24 fouls in Iowa, and they had 4. They had 24 fouls, we had 4. But there's no point in complaining about it, because at the end of the day, when you make things happen for yourself, you know, and you don't look for any excuse, none, and you make the correction yourself, then you become a big girl, you grow up, and you accept responsibility, and you take charge yourself. You don't like what happened, and you know what you have to do. If you're looking for the excuse, there's always plenty, you know, plenty of excuses always. And I don't believe in teaching that. And we've got to accept the responsibility. We didn't play well, and we didn't have that will as much as we would like. We did not have that will, that you're panting real hard, that you hardly feel like you can have a breath, but you have a grasp, because like you said, you're within 10 points or you're within 11. Then there's no way that you can walk off that floor and let it be okay. There's no way. There's none. You know, but it didn't happen. Let me just leave it like that.
Any other questions for Coach?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Any questions? Thanks.